I healed myself. I disappeared and came back stronger than ever. That's not just a statement. It's a truth that changed everything. Have you ever felt stuck, weighed down by your own struggles, like the version of yourself you want is out of reach? What if the key to real change wasn't in pushing harder, but in stepping back, listening to yourself, and healing on your own terms? This video is about how I broke free from those invisible chains and rebuilt my life piece by piece using simple but powerful actions anyone can do. I'm going to show you how small choices, especially acts of kindness, can spark deep joy and strength inside you. If you're ready to stop surviving and start thriving, stick around. What I'm about to share could be the turning point you've been waiting for. Let's get started. Number 1, embrace daily writing about your pain to build strength. I was tired of feeling broken. Tired of pretending I was fine when I wasn't. Tired of waking up every morning with a weight on my chest and a voice in my head telling me I wasn't enough. I knew something had to change, and I knew no one was coming to save me. Not my friends, not my family, not even time. Time doesn't heal you if you keep reliving the same pain. Time only gives you space. What you do in that space, that's what matters. So I disappeared, not to run away, but to finally face the one person I'd been avoiding, myself. You see, healing doesn't happen in front of an audience. It happens in silence. It happens when you stop scrolling and start sitting with your thoughts. It happens when you put the phone down and pick up a pen. That's how it started for me. One small notebook, one honest sentence, then another, and another. I didn't even know what I was doing at first. I just knew I needed to let something out. I had to take what was inside and get it out where I could see it. Because if it stays hidden, it grows. Pain that stays buried turns into bitterness. And bitterness will drain your strength even on your best days. So I wrote, every single day. Even when I didn't feel like it. Even when the words didn't make sense. Even when I wanted to give up. I wrote about the pain, the fear, the disappointment, the people who let me down, the promises I made to myself that I didn't keep. I didn't try to sound smart. I didn't care if it was beautiful. I just needed it to be real. I needed it to be honest. And slowly, something changed. The more I wrote, the more I saw patterns, truths, wounds I had ignored, things I blamed others for, that I had played a role in. It was like opening a window in a room that had been closed for years. The air started to move again. And here's the powerful thing. When you face your truth with open eyes, you begin to take your power back. I didn't need someone to fix me. I needed to stop lying to myself. And when I wrote those truths down, they stopped owning me. They stopped haunting me at night. I began to see clearly. And with clarity comes direction. I started to see what I needed to change. I started to see where I had settled, where I had avoided responsibility, where I had blamed others because it was easier than being honest with myself. You see, most people don't want healing. They want escape. But escape is temporary. It numbs the pain, but it never erases it. True healing is uncomfortable. It's slow. It's quiet. It happens in the moments no one else sees. When you choose to sit with the pain instead of running from it. When you write down how you really feel instead of putting on a mask. When you say, I don't have it all figured out, but I'm working on it. The notebook didn't solve all my problems, but it gave me something I hadn't had in a long time: control. I wasn't just reacting to life anymore. I was observing it, studying it, understanding it, and the more I understood, the stronger I became. I stopped blaming the world for my situation. I stopped waiting for someone to apologize or make things right. I made a decision to be responsible for my own healing. Every word I wrote was a step toward that. Some days I wrote pages, other days just a few lines. But I showed up. I didn't judge myself. I didn't need it to be perfect. I just needed it to be real. If I was angry, I wrote that. If I was tired, I wrote that. If I felt worthless, I put that on paper. And the strange thing is, the more I acknowledged the pain, the less power it had over me. It was no longer something I had to carry alone. It was outside me now. I could look at it, understand it, and over time, forgive it. Writing became my mirror. Not the kind that shows your face, but the kind that shows your soul. It reflected back my habits, my fears, my regrets. And then it started showing me my strength too. The fact that I kept writing, even when it hurt, told me something important. I wasn't weak. I was healing. I was building the kind of strength that doesn't need to be loud. The kind of strength that shows up in your eyes, in your posture, in the way you speak, and in the way you carry yourself through life. This is not about journaling because it's trendy or because someone said it's good for your mental health. This is about survival. This is about taking back the parts of you that life tried to break. This is about turning pain into clarity. It's about turning confusion into direction. I healed myself by being honest with myself. And honesty starts with a pen and a piece of paper. If you're carrying something heavy, write it down. If you're angry at someone, write it down. If you're lost, scared, or unsure, write it down. Don't wait for the perfect words. Don't try to make it sound wise. Just be real. Be raw. Tell the truth. Because your healing doesn't start when someone else understands you. It starts when you understand yourself. There's a quiet kind of power in putting your story into words. It's not just reflection, it's release. It's a reminder that you've lived through it, and you're still here. It's proof that you didn't give up. You paused. You stepped back. You looked inside. And that takes courage. Most people will never do that. They'll keep pretending. They'll stay busy. They'll keep distracting themselves and wondering why they still feel empty. But not you. If you're willing to face it, if you're willing to write it, you can change it. And when you change what's inside, the outside begins to shift too. That's how I came back stronger. Not because the world changed, but because I changed. I didn't let the pain make me bitter. I let it make me better. And it started with one simple decision: to stop hiding from myself. So now I ask you this: what are you still holding on to that needs to come out? What truth have you been avoiding? What pain are you carrying that could start to fade if you just gave it a voice? You don't need anyone's permission to start healing. You just need to be brave enough to be honest with yourself. One word at a time. One page at a time. One day at a time. Pick up the pen. Write the truth. Set yourself free. Number 2, confront old fears by speaking truth out loud every morning. Most people start their mornings lying to themselves, and that's exactly why they stay stuck. They wake up and pretend everything is okay. They get out of bed, brush their teeth, scroll through their phone, and carry the same fears they've had for years. Afraid to be alone, afraid of failing, afraid of being judged, afraid they're not enough. But they never say it. They keep it hidden. And what you refuse to face will always control you. That's the truth. I got tired of carrying fear around like it was normal. I got tired of acting like I wasn't afraid when I was. So I started doing something different. Every morning, I began speaking the truth out loud, not for anyone else, not to post it online, just for me. I stood in front of the mirror, looked myself in the eye, and I spoke the truth, even when it shook my voice, even when it made my heart race, even when I didn't want to hear it. I said it. I'm scared I'll never become the person I know I could be. I'm still angry about how they treated me. I feel like I wasted years pretending I was okay. I've been playing small because I'm afraid of failing. And do you know what happened when I started saying those things out loud? I stopped hiding from them. Because when you hide something in the dark, it grows. But when you bring it into the light, it shrinks. Fear is loud in your head, but it gets quieter when you say it out loud. The truth might sting when it comes out, but it sets you free when you speak it. This isn't about affirmations. This isn't about pretending you're confident. This is about being honest. It's about building strength by telling the truth. Because you can't grow from what you won't face. If you keep avoiding the hard conversations with yourself, you will live the same day over and over again, just in a different year. What's more powerful than pretending everything is okay is owning that it's not and deciding to do something about it. That's what speaking the truth every morning gave me. Power, clarity, direction. I stopped guessing about what was holding me back because I could finally hear it. I could hear the lies I was telling myself. I could hear the guilt, the resentment, the self-doubt. I stopped suppressing it. I confronted it. It's one of the most uncomfortable things you will ever do. And it's also one of the most liberating, because once you say it, you can face it. You can challenge it. You can dismantle it. But if you stay silent, it controls you. And you will go on smiling in public while you fall apart in private. That's not strength. That's denial. And denial doesn't build resilience. Truth does. Think about how many people are stuck in the same patterns because they've never had a real conversation with themselves. They keep blaming other people. They keep chasing distractions. They keep numbing the pain with food or alcohol or social media. But they never stop, stand still, and speak the truth. They've built a life around avoiding discomfort. And that's why they feel powerless. Because if you avoid discomfort, you avoid growth. If you avoid truth, you avoid transformation. When you speak your truth every morning, you reclaim ownership of your life. You stop waiting for permission. You stop looking for validation. You stop trying to impress people who don't even care about your healing. You look yourself in the mirror and you tell yourself exactly where you stand. You admit what you're afraid of. You acknowledge what hurts. And then you build from there. Some days it's hard to say the words. Your throat gets tight. Your eyes sting. Your chest feels heavy. But that's when you know it's real. That's when you know it matters. That's when you know you're digging into the truth, not the version of your life you post online, but the one you live in your head. That's where the healing happens. I'm telling you, there is something powerful about hearing your own voice speak the truth. It creates movement, emotion, strength. Not the kind of strength that looks good on a stage, but the kind that gets you through a dark day, the kind that helps you face the hard conversations, the kind that stops you from giving up when no one's cheering you on. We've been trained to keep it all inside. Be quiet, be polite, be nice. But holding your truth inside is not noble, it's destructive. You weren't meant to carry all of it silently. You were meant to speak it, to process it, to move through it. And the fastest way to start that process is by saying it out loud. You don't need an audience. You don't need a therapist in front of you. You need courage, just enough to speak the first sentence. That's where change begins. You walk into the bathroom, you look into the mirror, and you stop pretending. You speak what's real. I'm tired of pretending I'm okay. I'm angry that I gave up on myself. I'm scared that I won't make it. Then you breathe. You hear it. You feel it. And the fog starts to lift. Because now you're not running from it. You're walking through it. And walking through it is how you build strength. People will ask, what's the secret to confidence? What's the secret to discipline? And I'll tell you this, the foundation of both is honesty. If you can't be honest with yourself, you will always live under a mask. Confidence isn't about pretending you're not afraid. It's about facing fear and still choosing to move forward. Discipline doesn't come from motivation. It comes from clarity, and clarity comes from truth. Speak your truth every morning, not once a month, not when things get bad. Every single morning. That's how you stay connected to yourself. That's how you stay grounded. That's how you stay free. Say what's real. Say what hurts. Say what you're afraid of. And then say what you're committed to doing about it. Because healing is not just about release. It's about responsibility. Once you speak the truth, you have to act on it. You can't go back to pretending. You can't unhear what you said. You've got to live it. You've got to become it. And that's the beauty of this practice. It keeps you accountable to yourself. You stop drifting. You stop blaming. You stop settling. You start showing up fully, consistently, authentically. And when you do that, you become the strongest version of yourself. Not because you avoided the hard parts, but because you faced them head on, in your own voice, on your own terms. So here's what I want you to do tomorrow morning. Wake up, stand still, find a quiet space, and speak one truth out loud. Just one. Say it with honesty. Say it like your life depends on it. Because in some ways it does. You do that every day, and I promise you'll stop living in fear and start living in power. Number 3, rebuild your body with simple stretches and mindful breathing. There was a time when even getting out of bed felt like a battle. My back was tight, my shoulders ached, my head was heavy, and I'd already lost the fight before the day had even started. I didn't have the energy, and I told myself I was just tired, overworked, burned out. But the truth was, I had stopped taking care of my body. And when the body goes, everything else starts to collapse right behind it. Your focus, your attitude, your confidence, your discipline, it all breaks down. Slowly at first, then all at once. I used to think healing meant big, dramatic change. Like I had to join a gym, run 5 miles, lift heavy weights, and post it online to prove I was doing something. But that's not how I came back. That's not how I started rebuilding my strength. I started small, quiet, alone, no crowd, no noise, just me, the floor, my breath, and a decision to move. Not fast, not hard. Just enough. Just a few slow stretches. Just a few minutes of breathing, fully, deeply, consciously. It didn't seem like much, it didn't look impressive, but it changed everything. Because for the first time in a long time, I wasn't escaping my body. I was listening to it. I was being present with it. I was reconnecting. You see, stress doesn't just live in your mind. It parks itself in your chest. It builds up in your neck. It hides in your hips. It lingers in your lower back. All that pain you think is from aging or fatigue is often your body asking for attention. But we ignore it. We push through. We numb it. We call it normal. And before we know it, we're living trapped inside a body that feels like a burden instead of a gift. The truth is, your body remembers everything. The pressure, the disappointment, the tension, the loss. It holds on to all of it. And if you never give it the chance to release it, it will keep you tired, tight, restless, and disconnected. But the moment you start moving with intention, the healing begins. Slowly, naturally, quietly. You don't need to be an expert. You don't need to be flexible. You just need to start. You roll out of bed, and instead of grabbing your phone, you sit still. You stretch your arms up. You take a slow breath in. You exhale. You bring your knees to your chest. You rotate your neck. You notice the tightness, but you don't judge it. You keep breathing. You reach down toward your toes, not to impress anyone, not to check your progress, just to feel, to be aware. That's the power of mindful movement. You don't need an hour. You don't need equipment. You don't need loud music or fancy routines. What you need is the discipline to show up, even if it's only 10 minutes, even if it's only 3 moves. You begin to create a new rhythm for your body. You start to rewire the way you carry yourself. And over time, your body responds, not just physically, but emotionally. You start to feel grounded. You stop reacting to everything. Your thoughts slow down. Your breath deepens. You begin your day from a place of calm instead of chaos. You walk into situations with more peace in your body, and people feel it. You don't flinch. You don't collapse. You don't fall apart because you've been training for stillness. You've been practicing control. You've been rebuilding the relationship with the body that carries you through every single thing you do. This is not about becoming someone else. This is about returning to who you are, a person who was born to move, to feel, to live fully in their own skin. But somewhere along the line, life made you stiff. Life made you heavy. Life made you feel trapped inside your own muscles. But now you get to change that. And the way out is not force. The way out is awareness. Stretching is not weakness. It's strength in silence. It's strength without noise. It's how you tell your body, I'm listening. And breathing, real breathing, the kind that fills your lungs fully and empties them completely. It's how you tell your nervous system, you are safe. Most people live in survival mode, shallow breathing, constant tension, no space to feel, no space to rest, and it wears them down. Not all at once, but slowly, until they forget what it feels like to feel alive. But when you stretch with attention, when you breathe with intention, you reset, you reconnect, you release what you don't need, you create space for strength to return. You create a body that supports your mind, not works against it. And when your body is aligned, your choices follow. You eat better, you sleep better, you think clearer, you speak more calmly, you become more resilient, all from a few minutes of conscious movement and breath. This is about taking back the part of yourself that you've ignored. It's about choosing not to wait until your body screams for help. It's about building a routine that doesn't burn you out, but builds you up. Stretch, breathe, and notice. That's it. That's the foundation. You want mental clarity? Start with the body. You want emotional balance? Start with the breath. You want confidence? Start with how you carry yourself every morning. Your body is your home. If it's tense, your mind will be restless. If it's tight, your thoughts will be scattered. But if it's calm and open, your whole life feels more manageable. You'll start standing taller. You'll stop shrinking under pressure. You'll stop avoiding the mirror. You'll move through the day with more power, more presence, and more peace. The strongest people I know don't just train their mind, they train their presence, and presence begins in the body. So if you feel lost, stuck, disconnected, don't overthink it. Just start with the body. Move gently, breathe slowly, show up daily, and watch your strength return from the inside out. Because healing isn't loud. It's not flashy. It's not about what others see. It's about what you feel when you're alone. And when you feel strong in your body, nothing outside of you can knock you over. Start rebuilding today, not next week, not next year, not when life gets easier. Do it now while it's hard. Because that's when it matters most. That's when it changes you. That's when it sticks. Stand up. Stretch your arms. Inhale deeply. Exhale slowly. Feel your body. Honor your breath. Rebuild from there. Number 4, claim your time by saying no to toxic daily habits. You will never get your life back until you start saying no. Not to people, not to the world, but to the little things that steal your time every day without you even noticing. I'm talking about the small habits, the ones that feel harmless, the ones you've made excuses for, the ones that you call normal. They're the habits that rob your focus, kill your energy, feed your self-doubt, and leave you wondering why you always feel behind, unmotivated, or stuck. You can't heal in the same environment that made you sick. And that includes what you do on autopilot when no one's watching. You wake up, and the first thing you grab is your phone. You check messages that could have waited. You scroll through the lives of people who don't even know yours. And you start your day in reaction mode, anxious, scattered, behind. Not because you're weak, not because you're lazy, but because you've been trained to respond instead of create. That's a toxic habit. That's the kind of habit that robs you of your time, your clarity, and your power. You want to come back stronger? You want to heal and rebuild? Then you have to take back your time. That means looking at your day with honesty. That means calling out the lies you've been telling yourself. It's only a few minutes. It helps me relax. It's not that bad. No, it is that bad. Because it's not about the minutes. It's about the message you send to yourself. And every time you choose distraction over discipline, you tell yourself your goals can wait. You tell yourself your peace can wait. You tell yourself you can wait, and you've waited long enough. Start cutting the habits that keep you small, the ones that keep your mind cloudy, the ones that make you feel empty after you do them. They don't always scream toxic. Some of them wear a friendly face, but look at the results. If you finish that habit feeling worse about yourself, it's not harmless. If you find yourself avoiding your own thoughts because of it, it's not relaxing. If it makes you feel good for 5 minutes and guilty for the next 5 hours, it's not self-care, it's poison. And the longer you entertain it, the longer you delay your own transformation. The people who rise, the ones who rebuild and come back stronger, they don't just add good things, they remove what weakens them. That's the part nobody talks about. It's easy to make a list of goals, it's easy to write affirmations, but saying no to your own comforts, that's where the real work begins. Saying no to gossip, saying no to mindless scrolling, saying no to processed food, saying no to complaining, saying no to staying up late for no reason, saying no to anything that costs you your clarity the next morning. It's hard, but it's necessary. When I disappeared, when I stepped back from everything, I didn't do it to impress anyone. I did it to detox. Not just from the noise around me, but from the habits that made me numb. I looked at my day and asked one question: does this make me better or worse? And if the answer wasn't better, it had to go, no matter how small, no matter how familiar. I knew I couldn't change my life with the same habits that built the version of me that was tired, frustrated, and stuck. You can't plant seeds in poison soil. You have to start clearing the ground. That means claiming your time back from the things that waste it. And don't just do it once. Make it a rule, not a wish, not a maybe, a rule. You protect your time like your life depends on it, because it does. Because every moment you waste in toxic habits is a moment you could have spent healing, building, learning, growing, connecting, moving, breathing, becoming. Your time is not a joke. It's not something to gamble. You don't get it back, and no one is going to hand it to you. You have to take it. You have to own it. You have to fight for it. And that starts by saying no. No to anything that takes you further from the person you know you can be. There's freedom in the word no. Real power. Because when you say no to one thing, you say yes to something else. You say yes to your goals. You say yes to your values. You say yes to your energy. You say yes to your peace of mind. And if that makes you different, if that makes people uncomfortable, so be it. This is not about making others feel good. This is about becoming someone you can be proud of when no one's looking. You don't need to explain your no. You don't need permission. You don't need a perfect schedule. You just need awareness and the courage to act on it. Look at your day and ask, where does my time go? Who gets it? What habits eat it up? And what do I feel like afterward? If you feel drained, it's toxic. If you feel ashamed, it's toxic. If you feel stuck, it's toxic. Replace it. You don't need to go extreme. You don't need to quit everything at once. Just start with one thing, one habit, one choice. Catch yourself reaching for your phone and put it down. Catch yourself about to speak negatively and pause. Catch yourself about to waste your night and redirect. That's the beginning of healing. Not some big dramatic change, but choosing every day to stop feeding what weakens you, because you can't live a strong life with weak habits, and you can't build a new you with the same patterns that built the old one. So take your time back. Be bold about it. Be aggressive about it, because no one else is going to protect your peace. No one else is going to value your time more than you do. Set boundaries. Keep them. Say no, not because you're selfish, but because you're serious. You want to heal? You want to disappear and come back stronger? Then stop letting toxic habits rent space in your life. Kick them out. Make room. Fill it with something better. Fill it with discipline. Fill it with growth. Fill it with things that nourish you. You are not a prisoner of your habits. You are the builder of your routine. And every no you speak is a brick in the foundation of your comeback. Now go look at your life honestly and start removing what no longer deserves your time. This is your moment. Don't waste it. Say no and mean it. Say no and rise. Number 5, challenge common advice by trusting your own unique healing pace. You don't have to heal on anyone else's timeline. Too many people rush their recovery, not because they're ready, but because someone else told them they should be. Because some voice outside said, you should be over this by now, or you need to move on, or it's been long enough. And those voices, they don't know your story. They didn't feel what you felt. They didn't carry what you carried. And they don't get to set the pace for your comeback. Only you do. Healing isn't a checklist. It's not a race. It's not something you do so the world will clap for you. It's personal, it's sacred, and it's yours. I've seen too many people break themselves trying to look like they're okay before they actually are. They pretend, they rush, they force smiles, they post the highlight reel while quietly falling apart because they're scared they'll be judged for needing more time, for still hurting, for not being done yet. But let me tell you something real and honest. Healing doesn't happen in public approval. It happens in private honesty. When I disappeared, I didn't set a timer on my growth. I didn't look at what other people were doing and try to match it. I shut the noise off. I got quiet. I sat with what hurt. I gave myself permission to be slow. And in that slowness, I found something that speed had never given me: clarity. And not just clarity about my past, but about my values, my worth, and my future. I saw the parts of myself that were tired from performing. I saw the patterns I used to avoid pain. And I made peace with the fact that healing is not a one-size-fits-all process. Your story is different. Your pain is different. And so your recovery will be different too. And that's not something to be ashamed of. That's something to respect. Maybe someone else bounced back in a month. Good for them. Maybe someone wrote a book, traveled the world, found a new love, and started a business, all in the time it's taken you to get out of bed without breaking down. That doesn't mean they're better than you. It doesn't mean you're failing. It means your wounds are speaking a different language. And the only person qualified to interpret that language is you. Trust your own pace, because when you go too fast, you skip the parts that matter. You skip the reflection. You skip the foundation. And if you skip the foundation, whatever you build next, it won't last, because it'll be built on the same patterns that broke you in the first place. Real healing takes time, not just physical time, but emotional time, mental time, spiritual time. And nobody can rush that for you. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is move slower than the world expects. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is say, I'm not ready yet, but I will be. And in that honesty, you start to take your power back. Stop asking if you're behind. Stop measuring your growth with someone else's ruler. Look inward. Are you more self-aware than you were last month? Are you more honest with yourself than you were last year? Are you doing the work even when no one sees it? Then you're not behind. You're building something real, something that will last, something rooted. Don't fall for the pressure to look healed. Aim to be healed. That means resting when your body needs rest. That means journaling through the hard days instead of numbing them. That means saying no to things you're not emotionally ready for, even if people don't understand. That means building boundaries that protect your peace, even if they upset others. That means valuing your own rhythm more than anyone else's opinion. There will be days when it feels like nothing's changing, when you wonder if you're making any progress at all. But healing doesn't always feel dramatic. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's subtle. Sometimes it's as small as being able to sit with a memory that used to make you cry. Sometimes it's choosing not to text someone who hurt you. Sometimes it's making your bed, going for a walk, or breathing through an anxious moment without falling apart. These things count. They matter. Don't let the world convince you they're too small to celebrate. You're not here to meet someone else's deadline. You're here to reclaim your life, and you can only do that by honoring your own process. And that takes courage, because people will question you. They'll ask, why are you still talking about that? Why haven't you bounced back yet? When are you going to be your old self again? And here's what you tell them. I'm not going back. I'm not rushing. I'm rebuilding, and I'm doing it right this time. The goal isn't to return to who you used to be. It's to become who you were meant to be before life taught you to shrink. And that version of you, the healed, strong, grounded, peaceful version, that version takes time. So give it time. Trust yourself. Trust that your instincts know when to rest, when to grow, and when to leap. And if you don't feel ready to leap yet, that's okay. Get stronger in the stillness. Get wiser in the silence. Get prepared in the waiting. Because when your moment comes, and it will, you won't just bounce back. You'll rise higher than you ever have before. So stop comparing. Stop rushing. Stop listening to advice that doesn't fit your story. This is your journey. And if you've chosen to move through it with care, with self-respect, with honesty, then you're already doing it right. And when you finally come back, when people see the new you, it won't just be impressive. It'll be undeniable. This is your pace. This is your power. And your healing, it's right on time. Number 6, sharpen your mind with focused reading sessions before sunrise. Most people never change their lives because they never change their minds. When I was lost, when I felt broken, when I couldn't see clearly what direction to take or who I was anymore, I didn't need more noise. I needed truth. But not truth from opinions or headlines or someone shouting at me on a screen. I needed truth from the people who had walked through fire and survived it. I needed wisdom that was deeper than quick fixes. I needed something that would wake up my thinking, and I found it. Not in chaos, but in stillness. I found it before the world opened its mouth each day. I found it in the silence of the morning, with a book in my hand and a decision in my heart to get stronger, one page at a time. There is something powerful about reading before sunrise. That early hour, it belongs to you. No notifications, no noise, no pressure, just you and your thoughts, and a chance to grow in peace. You're not competing with anyone. You're not performing. You're building something real inside your mind, and that changes how you show up in the world. See, most people feed their minds garbage before breakfast. Scrolling through social media, watching negativity, listening to drama. And then they wonder why they feel tired before the day even starts. But what happens if, instead, you feed your mind purpose? What happens if you train it like an athlete trains their body? What happens if, every morning before anyone else even wakes up, you sit down and sharpen your thinking? Reading with focus isn't about cramming information. It's not about how many pages you get through. It's about how deeply you let those words shape the way you think. One good sentence can shift your direction. One idea can destroy a lie you've been telling yourself for years. One truth can help you stand back up and keep going when you're ready to quit. That's what happened to me. I didn't pick up books because I was strong. I picked them up because I was tired of being lost. I didn't need entertainment. I needed answers. And I found them from minds greater than mine. People who had struggled. People who had built something from nothing. People who had been where I was and found a way out. And every morning I read. A little more of their strength became mine. Now don't think you need to read for hours. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20, if you've got it. What matters isn't the time, it's the consistency. It's the decision to put something wise into your brain before the world tries to put fear there. You make that choice daily, and I promise your mind will become sharper than it's ever been. You'll see things clearer. You'll respond with more patience. You'll speak with more conviction. You'll stop reacting and start creating. Focused reading in the early morning does something else. It separates you from the average. Because most people are still asleep. Most people are hoping the day goes well, instead of preparing their mind to lead the day. But if you've read something strong, something meaningful, something rich with insight, you walk out into the world with a calm that no one else understands. You start leading your life instead of following it. I don't care if it's 10 pages or one chapter. Just make it matter. Pick up a book that speaks to where you are right now. Maybe you need discipline. Maybe you need clarity. Maybe you need emotional healing. Whatever it is, someone's already lived it and written it down. And the beautiful part is that person can mentor you without ever knowing your name. You can sit down with the wisest thinkers in the world for free every single morning. That's not magic. That's strategy. And strategy beats motivation every time. But let me tell you, it's not always easy. Some mornings you won't feel like it. You'll want to scroll instead. You'll tell yourself it won't matter. You'll say it's just one day. But one day becomes a week becomes a month, and soon you're back to drifting, back to living by chance instead of intention. Don't let that happen. Protect your morning. Defend your mind. Start with just one session, one sunrise, one book, one idea, and do it again tomorrow. Stack those wins until they become who you are. This is how you come back stronger. This is how you heal with power and direction. You don't just rebuild your emotions. You rebuild your thinking. You feed it better thoughts. You choose what enters. And that choice is everything. Because here's the truth. Your mind will either become your weapon or your prison. It will either lift you or limit you. And no one else gets to choose that for you. You do, every single morning. If you're serious about healing, if you're serious about growth, then start where it counts. Before the world wakes up. Before you check your phone. Before the noise kicks in. Sit in the stillness. Open a book and read like your future depends on it. Because it does. This is your time. This is your shot. And if you really want it, not just to survive, but to thrive, then sharpen your mind while the rest of the world sleeps. That's how you get ahead. That's how you stay ahead. That's how you become someone you're proud of when no one else is watching. Make the decision tonight. Set your book out. Set your alarm. And when the morning comes, don't hit snooze. Don't delay your greatness. Rise, read, grow, and walk out the door as the strongest, clearest version of yourself. Because you earned it before the sun even rose. Number 7. Speak your truth to trusted friends and release inner weight. You can't carry the weight of your silence and still expect to rise. There comes a point when holding it in becomes heavier than letting it out. Not just emotionally, but physically, mentally, spiritually. You walk around with a smile that doesn't reach your eyes. You say I'm fine so many times that you start to believe that fine is the best you can feel. But the truth is, healing doesn't happen in isolation, and strength doesn't mean keeping everything locked inside. There is real power, real release in speaking your truth to someone who sees you, hears you, and doesn't try to fix you, just listens, just cares. That's how you stop surviving and start breathing again. One of the most important things I ever did for myself was to open my mouth and tell the truth. Not online, not in a journal, but out loud, to a person I trusted. I didn't do it to get advice. I did it because the pressure inside of me was becoming too much. The pretending, the fear, the feeling that if I said how I really felt, I'd be judged or misunderstood or rejected. But when I spoke the truth, when I finally gave a voice to everything I had kept inside for years, something powerful happened. The weight didn't crush me, it left me. That's what I want you to know. Silence keeps you stuck. Silence convinces you that your pain is too ugly to be seen. But pain is part of being human. Struggle is part of growth. And the shame only lives in the shadows. Once you speak it, once you release it, it loses its grip. You take your power back one word at a time. But it has to be someone you trust. Someone who won't use your story against you. Someone who won't interrupt or dismiss or minimize what you're feeling. I'm talking about a real friend. The kind that makes space for you without needing to understand every piece. You don't need a crowd. You don't need everyone's opinion. One person, that's enough. One safe space where you can stop performing. That can change everything. Most people keep things bottled up because the world told them to toughen up. Don't cry, don't complain, don't be weak. But that mindset doesn't make you stronger, it makes you sick. You lose sleep, you lose joy. You carry anxiety in your chest and wonder why your heart feels heavy all the time. It's not because you're broken, it's because you're carrying pain that was never meant to stay buried. And when you don't speak it, it turns into exhaustion, it turns into distance. You push people away not because you don't care, but because you don't know how to let them in. Speaking your truth doesn't mean telling everyone everything. It means giving yourself permission to be real, to say, I'm not okay right now, to admit I'm hurting and I don't know how to fix it. That kind of honesty, that's not weakness, that's courage. That's the beginning of real strength. Because now you're not just pretending to heal, you're taking real steps. And something else happens when you speak to someone who truly listens. Connection. You realize you're not the only one going through it. You stop feeling so alone. You hear "me too," and it opens a door inside you. The fear starts to leave. The guilt starts to fade. And in that space, something better grows. Clarity, peace, hope. This is how people come back stronger. Not by hiding, not by pretending, but by choosing honesty, even when it's uncomfortable. You want freedom? Start there. Start with your truth. Say the thing you've been afraid to say. Tell the story you've buried. Bring it into the light and let someone hold it with you. But here's the thing. This doesn't work if you only do it once. This is not a one-time release. This is a practice. This is a lifestyle. You don't have to spill your guts every day, but you do need to make honesty a habit. You need to know in your bones that you don't have to carry your battles in silence anymore. You're allowed to process out loud. You're allowed to ask for help. You're allowed to need support. Some of you watching this, I know you've been the strong one for too long. You're the one others come to. You're the one who always holds it together. But who holds you? Who do you talk to? Who sees you when the lights are off and the crowd is gone? If you don't have that person yet, I want you to find them. I want you to build real friendships, not surface ones. People you can call when it's dark. People who can sit with your pain without trying to fix it. That's the kind of circle that heals. That's the kind of connection that saves lives. Now listen, this is your life. You don't owe anyone silence. You don't owe the world your perfect version. What you owe yourself is the truth. Because when you start telling it, your energy changes. Your mind clears. Your decisions improve. You stop second-guessing everything. You stop hiding. And you start living with integrity, not just with others, but with yourself. You've got more power than you realize, but it starts with honesty. It starts with vulnerability. It starts with opening your mouth and saying, this is where I really am. You don't need a solution in that moment. You don't need to have it all figured out. All you need is the courage to speak. That's the step that changes the direction of your life. So now I'm asking you, who can you talk to? Who in your life is safe enough to hear your truth? If you don't know, start small. Ask someone to just listen. No advice, no opinions, just listen. And if you can't find that person yet, then be that person for someone else. Build trust, one honest conversation at a time. Speak your truth. Don't carry it alone. You're not weak for needing to talk. You're not less valuable because you're going through something. You're human, and being human means needing connection, not isolation. So tonight, make the decision. Choose one friend. Call them, message them. Ask if they've got a few minutes. And when they say yes, don't shrink. Speak. Share what's been heavy. Say it out loud. And when you do, pay attention, not just to what they say, but to how your body feels. That tightness, that weight in your chest, you'll feel it start to loosen. That's healing. That's growth. This is how we rise. Not in silence, not in hiding, but in honesty. With each word, we let go of the weight. With each truth, we take back our power. And that, my friend, is how you come back stronger than ever. Number 8, fuel your recovery by cooking fresh meals with vibrant vegetables. You can't expect to heal if you keep feeding your body like you don't matter. There was a time in my life when I was mentally exhausted, physically drained, emotionally out of touch. I was going through the motions, eating whatever was fast, cheap, or convenient. I told myself I didn't have time to care. I told myself food was just fuel, and as long as I kept going, I'd be fine. But I wasn't fine. I was numb. I was scattered. I was running on empty. And no one could see it from the outside. But every day I felt like I was shrinking inside myself. Then one day I stopped long enough to look at my life, and I saw what I was doing to myself. I was treating my body like an afterthought, not a priority. I was surviving off food that had no energy, no life, no care. I was expecting my mind to be clear while feeding it sugar, processed food, and frozen quick fixes. And I had to ask myself a question that changed everything. If I keep eating this way, what am I really saying to myself? I'm saying I'm not worth the effort. I'm saying comfort is more important than recovery. I'm saying fast is more valuable than healing. And that wasn't okay anymore. So I made a decision, a real one. I started cooking. Nothing fancy, nothing complicated. Just simple, fresh meals with real ingredients. Vegetables with color, texture, and life. Ingredients I could pronounce. Foods that came from the earth, not a box. And I'm telling you, I didn't just feel better physically. I felt respected. Because for the first time in a long time, I was taking care of myself like someone who mattered. There's something powerful about preparing your own food. It's not just about nutrition. It's about slowing down and choosing yourself. It's about telling your body, I see you, I appreciate you, I'm here for you. When you chop those vegetables, when you stir that pan, when you plate that meal, that's not just cooking, that's a message. That's self-respect. That's healing through action. You know what's crazy? The body wants to heal. It's built for it. But we work against it every day by what we feed it. We expect focus and energy, but eat things that cloud the mind and drain the spirit. We expect balance, but start our days with caffeine and sugar. We want to feel alive, but we feed ourselves things that were never alive in the first place. That has to change. You can't build a strong future on weak fuel. But don't get overwhelmed. You don't have to become a nutritionist or spend hours in the kitchen. Start with one meal a day. That's it. Make it fresh. Make it colorful. Add something green. Cook it yourself and do it with care. Don't just throw things together while scrolling your phone. Be present. Smell the spices. Feel the texture. Listen to the sound of the sizzle. That's mindfulness. That's grounding. That's healing disguised as a simple meal. You'll be surprised how fast things start to shift. Your energy picks up. Your mood lifts. Your thoughts clear. And it's not magic, it's biology. Your gut is connected to your brain. Your food affects your hormones, your emotions, your clarity. When you nourish your body properly, your entire life responds. But there's more to it than the science. This is about reclaiming control. When life feels chaotic, food is one area where you can take your power back. You can choose what goes into your body. You can say no to what makes you feel worse. You can make the small decision every day to eat like someone who loves themselves. That kind of consistency builds confidence. It builds strength. It builds a foundation you can stand on when everything else feels shaky. And don't let anyone tell you this is too simple to matter. Simple is powerful. Simple is what people overlook while they search for complicated solutions. But it's in the small things, the meals, the habits, the quiet decisions, that real transformation begins. You don't change your life with one giant leap. You change it with daily acts of care, repeated over time. So when you walk into that kitchen tomorrow, I want you to remember, you're not just making food, you're declaring something. You're saying, I will not keep treating my body like a garbage bin. I will not keep pretending that comfort is the same as care. I am worth the time, I am worth the attention, I am worth the effort. And then follow through. No one is coming to do this for you. There's no shortcut, there's no pill. It's your hands, your choices, your commitment. But you have what it takes. You're stronger than you think. You're capable of more than you've allowed yourself to believe. And the next chapter of your healing begins with what you put on your plate. Start fresh, cook simple, eat real, feed your strength, not your fear. And with every bite, remind yourself, I'm rebuilding from the inside out. And I'm not stopping, not this time. Now go make that decision real. Go stand in that kitchen like someone who's serious about their life. Choose food that fuels your comeback. Prepare it with care. And as you eat, feel the shift. Feel the fire coming back. This is your moment. Own it. Number 9, design your future by setting clear goals every single evening. The most powerful moment of your day isn't in the morning. It's the last few minutes before you close your eyes at night. In those moments, you hold the key to the future you want. What you do then, the thoughts you choose, the plans you make, shape your tomorrow more than any morning routine ever will. Imagine this. You lie down after a long day, And instead of scrolling mindlessly, you take a moment to look back, then look forward. You think about what you want to achieve, not just vague wishes, but clear, specific goals. You see them in your mind's eye. You feel the satisfaction of completing them. You imagine how it changes your life. This simple act can create a shift so powerful, it rewires your mind and your actions. Here's the truth many overlook. Setting goals every evening is like drawing a roadmap for your soul. It's telling your subconscious, this is where I'm going, this is what matters. And your brain, wired to seek patterns and meaning, begins aligning your habits, choices, and energy toward those outcomes. The reason this works is simple but profound. When you write or say your goals clearly before bed, you plant seeds in your mind while it's most receptive, during rest. Your brain processes those goals subconsciously, finding solutions, opportunities, and ideas you wouldn't catch in the noise of daytime distraction. Dreams become more than just random images. They start to mirror your desires. Let's get real. How often do you wake up with no clear direction? How many days pass by where you react instead of act? When life feels chaotic, it's easy to get swept away by other people's priorities or urgent demands. But what if you took back control every night by deciding what tomorrow must include? You would wake up with a mission. You would step into your day with purpose and confidence. One of the most important parts of this is clarity. Vague goals produce vague results. Saying, I want to be healthier is nice, but it doesn't tell your mind exactly what to do. Instead, say, tomorrow I will drink 8 glasses of water and walk for 30 minutes. That clarity creates accountability, focus, and momentum. You give your brain clear instructions, and it loves that. There's another benefit that often gets overlooked. Setting goals at night helps reduce anxiety and overthinking. Instead of lying awake worrying about what's coming or what you forgot, you place those concerns on paper. You transfer them out of your mind. That act alone can calm the storm inside, helping you sleep better and wake up energized. The process doesn't have to be complicated or long. It can be as simple as jotting down 3 achievable goals, things that truly matter to you, in a notebook or on your phone. The key is consistency. Do it every night without fail. This is how habits form. This is how dreams turn into plans, and plans turn into reality. You might say, I don't have time for this, but here's the thing. The time spent is an investment, not a loss. Just 5 minutes of intentional goal setting before bed can save you hours of wasted effort during the day. It aligns your focus, sharpens your decisions, and cuts through distractions. And when you do this day after day, the compound effect is astonishing. Think about the difference this makes over a week, a month, a year. Those little intentions build on each other. What was once a vague hope becomes a vivid reality. When you train your mind to settle on specific outcomes every night, you become a person who doesn't drift. You become a person who designs their life. But there's an emotional side to this too. Setting goals each evening is an act of self-respect. It says you value your time, your dreams, your growth. It's a statement that you believe you're worth the effort it takes to create the life you want. And that belief, it's the foundation of everything. Don't underestimate the power of anticipation. When you go to sleep excited about your goals, your body relaxes differently. Your mind drifts towards solutions instead of problems. Your dreams start to reflect your aspirations. And when morning comes, you feel a pull, a drive to act because your subconscious has been working on your behalf all night. Now, it's easy to fall into the trap of setting goals that aren't yours, things others want for you or what you think you should do. That's why it's critical that the goals you set each night come from your heart. What lights you up, what makes you feel alive, what scares you but also excites you. Those are the goals that lead to meaningful growth and fulfillment. Some nights you'll feel tired or distracted. Maybe you'll doubt yourself or wonder if this really matters. Those are the nights when this practice is most important, when the world feels heavy. Setting clear intentions reminds you that you have control, that your future is still yours to create. And here's one more secret. Share your goals with someone you trust. When you make a commitment out loud, you add a layer of accountability. You're more likely to follow through because someone else believes in your vision. That support can be the difference between giving up and pushing through. At the end of the day, life is unpredictable. You can't control everything, but you can control your focus, your attitude, and your direction. Setting clear goals every single evening puts you in the driver's seat. You become proactive instead of reactive. You don't wait for things to happen. You make them happen. So tonight, take a moment before you close your eyes. Write down what you want to accomplish tomorrow. Be specific. Be honest. Be bold. Make it your map for the day ahead. Feel the power that comes from designing your future on purpose. When you do this every night, you stop drifting through life. You stop being a passenger and become the pilot. You reclaim your power. You heal the part of you that feels lost or stuck. and you come back stronger, clearer, and more focused than ever before. The future you want is waiting. It's built in those moments when the world is quiet and your mind is clear. The question is, will you claim it? Will you decide now that your tomorrow will not be left to chance? Start tonight. Set your goals. Design your future. Watch how your life changes, not by luck or coincidence, but because you made it so. The power is in your hands. Use it wisely. Number 10. Cultivate joy through small acts of kindness every single day. Joy isn't something that just happens. It's something you create deliberately and fiercely, one small act at a time. If you've ever felt the weight of the world pressing down or the numbness of days blending into one another, then listen closely. The secret to lighting up your life might be as simple as reaching out and lifting someone else's. Picture this: a tired cashier greeted by your genuine smile, a colleague overwhelmed by deadlines, soothed by a brief word of encouragement, a stranger's burden lightened by an unexpected kindness. These moments, tiny sparks of goodwill, aren't just gifts to others. They are the fuel that stokes your own inner fire. Every kind gesture, no matter how small, echoes back to you with a sense of meaning and joy that no amount of material success can buy. Many of us chase happiness like a distant star, expecting it to appear in grand gestures or perfect circumstances. But joy thrives in the small spaces between, those quiet, unnoticed acts of kindness that stitch connection into the fabric of our days. It's not about changing the world in one swoop, but about choosing daily to be a beacon of light amid the darkness. Think about the last time someone did something kind for you, a simple compliment, a helping hand, or just their full attention. How did it make you feel? Lighter, seen, alive. Now imagine being the one who creates that feeling for others. The power you hold is immense. Your smallest actions can ripple outward, breaking cycles of loneliness, despair, and indifference. This is not sentimental fluff. It's neuroscience and psychology meeting heart. Acts of kindness release dopamine and oxytocin in your brain, chemicals that deepen your sense of happiness and reduce stress. It's biological proof that generosity is self-care, that by giving you receive a profound healing that money or possessions cannot provide. But here's the challenge. In a world spinning fast, overwhelmed by negativity and noise, kindness can seem risky or naive. What if your kindness isn't returned? What if you're taken for granted? The truth is, kindness isn't about transactions or expectations, it's about integrity. It's about being true to the part of yourself that believes in goodness regardless of outcome. Start small. Maybe it's holding the door for someone, sending a heartfelt message to a friend, or sharing a genuine compliment. These acts build a muscle, a habit of kindness that grows stronger with every repetition. Soon you'll find yourself naturally seeking opportunities to brighten someone's day, and in doing so you'll discover joy flowing into your own. There's also a profound lesson in humility here. Kindness reminds us that no matter our status, struggles, or achievements, we all share a fundamental need: connection. It's a bridge over the loneliness that so often haunts us. By giving kindness freely, we tear down walls and build communities of empathy and understanding. Imagine what life could be like if every day you consciously chose to perform one small act of kindness. Over time, these moments accumulate, transforming your relationships, your outlook, and your sense of purpose. You become a catalyst for change, not just in others' lives, but within your own heart. Sometimes kindness asks us to step outside our comfort zones, to reach out when it's easier to look away, to listen when silence would be simpler, to give when we feel depleted. These moments test our courage, but also offer the greatest rewards. They teach resilience, deepen compassion, and awaken a joy that's rooted not in circumstances, but in choice. What if you committed today to this practice? What if each morning you woke up asking, how can I bring joy to someone else today? That question reframes your entire day. It shifts your focus from what you lack to what you can give, igniting a sense of purpose that fuels your own happiness. It's important to remember that kindness doesn't have to be grandiose or public to be meaningful. Sometimes the most powerful kindness is quiet and private. A whispered word, a gentle touch, a thoughtful pause. These moments ripple far beyond what the eye can see, planting seeds of hope and healing in ways you might never know. And here's the beautiful paradox. The more you give kindness, the more it returns. It builds a reservoir of goodwill around you, attracting people who uplift and inspire. Your world begins to reflect the generosity of your heart, creating a feedback loop of joy and connection. But this journey isn't about perfection or obligation. It's about presence, being awake to the opportunities around you and choosing to act with love. Every day will bring different challenges and chances, but your commitment to kindness anchors you in something deeper than fleeting emotions or external validation. When you cultivate joy through daily kindness, you're not just improving your own life, you're participating in a quiet revolution of humanity. Each small act pushes back against cynicism, isolation, and despair. It builds a legacy of warmth and light that can outlast you. So start now. Look around and find one moment today where you can choose kindness. It may feel small, even invisible, but its impact is monumental. Watch how it shifts your mood, your perspective, and your connection with the world. Your journey toward joy begins with a single intentional act. Make it today. Watch as your life transforms, not because you sought happiness, but because you gave it freely. The world needs your kindness, and your heart will thank you for it. Embrace this power. Commit to kindness every day, and watch your joy multiply in ways you never imagined possible. Your future self will look back with gratitude, knowing you chose to live with purpose, compassion, and an open heart.